Hello there. Welcome back to coverage here in Vancouver. Marshall Sutcliffe with Randy Buehler, and we're ready to head down to the feature match area for the 8th and final round of the day here from Pro Tour Magic Origins. Hello and welcome to coverage of Pro Tour Magic Origins. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Buehler, and we have reached the final round of Swiss action here on day one, Randy, and we find two undefeated players in our feature match area. We've got Kentaro Yamamoto of Japan. He's playing Obzon Control. His opponent, number 2 in the world right now, Sam Black of the United States, is on kind of the breakout deck, Red Aggro.
All of our storylines collide in Sam Black.
Yes.
He's playing the mono Red Aggro deck, which seems to have taken over the day. Ultra Pro went this way. A lot of other teams did. He's also undefeated. He's also trying to be Player of the Year, finding himself in second. And you can see from the scroll, nobody else is at, is there even a 6-1 amongst the top guys, right? Ifro is 3-4, trying to kind of still trying to make day 2. You know, Yuya is on the bubble for day 2. Sam's 7-0. He is in great shape to be Player of the Year, which he said, he posted to Twitter, that was his goal. His goal was this weekend he wanted to play like a Player of the Year, and next week he wanted to be a Player of the Year.
Wow. Well, he is certainly well on his way here. That is a glory chaser of the Goblin variety. He is chasing glory, isn't he? Yes, it is. Could be his card.
Got them picked up a renown trigger.
And it is in there, so.
Yeah.
Yamamoto is going to Thoughtseize here.
Always a painful decision.
Look at all the red.
Yeah.
No more lands in hand either.
Yeah, and you just don't care about Thoughtseize when you're a mono red player. I mean, you're happy, kind of.
That is not the look of a worried man.
Rich described him as bored, which is kind of perfect. Been here, done this. Yeah, deck's great, playing well. He is truly excited by the opportunity here for him this weekend.
Yes. He just understands that that being down in the feature match area and playing is not the time to be excited. You know, he's got work to do.
Yamamoto, also a Platinum player. This is a pair of Platinum Pros. Yamamoto, the only undefeated player left who doesn't play for Team Ultra Pro. The other two 7-0s over on the King of the Hill table are both representing Team Ultra Pro, both playing the same mono red deck that Sam's playing for us here.
That's Rich Hoen and Pat Cox?
Exactly.
Wow.
3 of the 4 7-0s. That's insane.
They've been the most successful team of late. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct. And yet somehow they've gotten better, having already been the most successful team at the Pro Tour this calendar year. I mean, they formed. This is only their 3rd Pro Tour. So, first 2 Pro Tours since they formed. Yeah, Justin got 2nd place for them. And Sam's desire to work with Justin is a lot of the reason he left Team Pantheon in order to join Ultra Pro, was so that he could work with his, longtime friend, roommate.
All right, well, back to the action here. It looks like
Kentaro's putting up a good fight.
Is there a languish in there or something? What happened to the two? I actually missed that. I was talking to you, Randy. I looked at you to hear what you had to say. Well, at any rate, Eidolon of the Great Revel replaces the board state for Sam, who still has on 2 lands and has all spells in hand. It was a languish indeed.
Kind of the one Origins card the Obzon Control deck gets access to.
Pretty important one. Yamamoto's at 11. Sam gets to think about going to the grocery store. He's got a lot of free time on his hands down in the feature match area. He kind of makes his play and then says, go. the decisions carry a lot of weight in a deck like the one that Sam is playing here, but there aren't as many of them as some of the decks that he's ran. Yamamoto is going to use ultimate price to take down the Eidolon. It is going to drop him down to 9. He's going to fall to 8 after cracking a fetch land here as well. So Sam Black, you heard him calling out the life totals on each time, just tick-tock.
Courser.
Nice follow-up play here from Yamamoto. If he can get this Courser to stay on the battlefield, that can help offset a few of the burn spells that he's sure to face in the next few turns.
1 card? Yes.
Yamamoto down to 1 card, though. It is a land, but
He can't play this one.
he's going to draw that land next turn.
Sam, again, only on 2 mountains here,
Yeah.
which is starting to look like it's holding him back a bit.
I mean, it's both good and bad.
Yeah, it
One of
means
the
he's got
advantage-
4 spells in hand, right?
Exactly. One of the
Yeah.
advantages of the red aggro deck is it doesn't have to play as many lands, and it gets to be more spell dense.
All right, so Kentaro's going to play one of these tap lands. It kind of depends on if he wants that Deathmist Raptor or not. He
Right.
could scry it to the bottom if he's not interested in it. Otherwise, he could just play a Sandstep Citadel and pass it back. Yeah, looks like he doesn't want it.
You see our feature matches scrolling across the bottom. Antonio Del Leon. Did you see the deck that he's playing?
No.
He's on Demonic Pact.
Oh, somebody's doing it.
Absolutely. And not just Demonic Pact. Woodland Bellower for invasive species to pick it up and cast it again. Demonic Pact.
Okay, I'm in.
5-2?
It's like Rich Hoen has picked up his first game of the match against Patrick Cox. Now
Yeah.
they're both on the red aggro deck, so those go quickly here.
Speaking of the scroll on the bottom, by the way, this Player of the Year race update, Eric Froelich, he's playing an elimination match this round. I mean, off camera, but at 3-4, he has to win or he gets the minimum. And even if he wins, he'll have some work left to do tomorrow. You see Li Shitian 5-2, Yuya Watanabe also playing an elimination match this round. He's got to win if he wants to keep playing. Ari Lax is through, but, you know, is he going to make that much of a run? Feels like Sam Black is a full 2 matches ahead of the field. Strosky on 5-2, Manfield on 5-2, Paul on 4-3. It's really Sam who's in the best position to leapfrog Eric, especially if Eric loses this round.
We are going to be keeping a great eye on Sam Black and his progress. Meanwhile, Kentaro Yamamoto keeps attacking here as Sam Black keeps throwing burn spells at his face.
Yeah, Sean McLaren's the other guy who's in good shape at 6-1.
What was his outlook coming in?
He's 9 back. So I mean, if
He
Eric
needs
gets
a big finish.
if Eric gets the minimum, then he needs like an X5 to pass Eric.
Okay.
But he also has to not get passed by anybody else, right?
Well, bad news for McLaren. He's down a game against Joel Larsson in our feature match area here.
Is McLaren on Rally?
He's on Abzon Rally.
I haven't
v
seen him on
Ancestors.
camera yet. Yeah, he's on Rally.
He's facing red aggro, and to the shock of nobody, he lost to it game 1. Now, game 2, I'm sure things could look a lot different, but in game 1, that's got to be rough. All right, in the meantime, Yamamoto.
Yep. Down to 5, but
Yes.
grinding out value. And Sam, yeah, I mean, you don't mind drawing a bunch of spells, but still only the 2 mountains to work with.
This could get out of reach quickly for Sam Black. He doesn't want to see his creatures at this point. He wants to see his burn spells,
Yep.
and his last 2 plays were 1-drop creatures. Yamamoto can gain another 2 life and go up to 7 this turn.
5 points of burn in Sam's hand. Actually, wow. 9 points of burn in Sam's hand. He can stoke with those 2 creatures. Also, if he draws a land, he can both Wild Slash and Lightning Strike. So Sam right on the edge of just lighting Yamamoto on fire. Antonio Del Leon in his Demonic Pact deck. Up a game on Daniel Cicchetti.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy. 2 different packs in play when he won.
Wow.
That's awesome.
2?
2. Yeah,
All
Sam
right, so
takes it.
Yamamoto has decided to attack here with his 2 3-powered creatures. Then he's going to follow up with the second
Courser. Oh,
Play
up
the
to
land.
7.
He goes to 7. He's just creeping away here.
Jeez, Sam has the burn. He just needs
Yeah.
the land.
He
draws
finds a
Wild
wild
Slash.
slash. Yeah, that's not going to do it either.
All right. Does he gets another turn, right? But he has to start blocking?
At some point, he's going to need to start blocking. Yeah, he can do the chump and then stoke.
Yeah, he can stoke, untap, slash for 8 damage. A land would take Kentaro to 9.
He just
so
hit
there
it.
it is. But if Sam draws a land, he can lightning strike slash, stoke lightning slash, and stoke lightning strike wild slash is 9. That is Kentaro Yamamoto's life total. That's the plan. Sam's got one more turn to draw a land, and then he's got it if he does, right?
Yes.
I think he only gets 1 draw step, but if his top card is the 3rd mountain, finally, then he wins this game. Okay.
Yamamoto's got a removal
He's not going to
spell.
stoke as a response?
He did not stoke in
That
response.
surprises me. Does he require a blocker here?
He must. 3, 6, 9.
Oh,
yes, he does. It is 11 that he's being attacked for there. So it looks like the pendulum has just swung back here. Down to 7 with Wild Slash.
Okay, but he may get an attacking with the Bell Striker?
He could. That would bring him down.
It's Mountain.
That would bring him down to 5.
He can stoke.
No,
Not good enough.
Just a turn late for Sam. And you see a rare head shake from, did you see
That
Sam's
was so
face?
close.
It was so close, and he knew it.
I mean, how many turns did that game go? 10?
Yeah.
Went at least 8 or 9 turns, and he just, the 3rd land at any point before the final turn.
Yeah, I think if he could have traded any of those for a land at any point, he could have done it. We'll be back right after these messages.
Ignite your spark. Magic Origins is now available on Magic Online. Explore the new set by signing up for Magic Online at mtgo.com. "24 players, 1 shot at immortality. Watch the best players in the world battle for the Magic World Championship starting Thursday, August 27th from PAX Prime in Seattle, Washington."
All right, let's jump in to our King of the Hill match where we have Rich Hoen versus Pat Cox battling it out. And it looks like they're
It's shuffle cam. It's shuffle cam.
Shuffle
Everyone is
cam
going.
on all of ours.
It looks like Rich Hoen
All
is
right.
up a game, but taking a mulligan.
That is correct.
Now, these guys are undefeated, and they're playing the same red aggro deck as Sam Black.
I did not sleep.
Unbelievably, 3 of the 4 undefeateds are teammates on the same red aggro deck. That Exquisite Firecraft card seems pretty good. Abbot of Kuroki, not bad either.
Yeah, that one has been hailed as one of the better cards in the deck by some of the players running it, too.
The Abbot?
Yeah, the Abbot.
Yeah, I hear a little more about the Firecraft.
It seems to stand out more to me as well.
You know, it was like 3 or 4 years between top 8. So
We're guaranteed to have one of those decks at 8-0. Whoever wins this match.
no, I'm saying this was like the night before top 8, like Saturday night.
These guys are having some friendly banter as they get shuffled.
Also top 8.
Both players have, what, 1 Pro Tour top 8? Is that right?
One of them was draft. I
think that's right.
My deck was a lot better than my opponent's. He was like a pile of shit, but just the one with an 8. Yeah. Okay, I keep.
All right. How does Hoen like those?
He says he kept.
Free scry. To the bottom.
All right, we'll stay here, and we've got this could be quick.
Yeah, it could
Sometimes it's not, right? Sometimes these mono red matches, mirror matches, do end up being burn spells pointed at small creatures forever, but they also can swing quite quickly. Rich Hoen on the play here. And he's just going to throw out an Eidolon of the Great Revel.
I did not know that Eidolon stayed in after sideboarding. Surprises me
Somewhat
a little bit.
surprised by that, too. All right, so it looks like Hoen's down to 15 after that sequence, and Cox is at 18. Here we go. Scab Clan Berserker. Now that one has haste. So Cox falls down to 16 now.
Is he really reading a card that's also in his own deck? It's kind of funny.
I think he may have just done that, Randy.
It's in the sideboard, right?
13.
All right, so Lightning Strike takes down the Scab Clan Berserker, but that also hurts Pat Cox.
Yep.
But then Zergo gets in for 2 as well. So life totals are falling quickly on both sides. Another Eidolon of the Great Revel. It's going to get Wild Slash, though, which again is going to hit Pat Cox.
Yeah, he keeps clearing a path for Zergo, though.
Yeah.
Bell
Zergo's the
Striker.
one permanent source of damage that's stuck. So Hoen's down to 11 now. Patrick Cox is at 12. If we have it, yeah. Uh-oh. Pass the turn. And it's Lightning Strike you. Drop you to 8. Okay. Monastery
Swift
Swift
Spear.
Spear. Attack with both. And this is going to be Searing Blood on Zergo. Pat Cox is at 12. Sure.
9, I go to 7.
Hoen's going to
No
drop to
prowess
9.
triggers
Pat
for the
Cox
Swift
took
Spear.
3. And there's the Abbot of Carol Keep. And he even
Finds
hits
him
a
out.
land off of it. This is fast-paced action. Oh, no.
Jeez,
He just
Searing
gives him a
Blood.
credit for his Searing Blood here. Man, that card seems so nasty
really
in the mirror.
does.
It's just 2 cards.
Kill your guy, and you take 3.
Burn your head.
Rich suddenly at 4.
He's at 4, like as in a burn spell away from death here.
Burn spell?
Yeah, he's got
Yes.
Stoke the Flames, and that's going to do it for that game. Wow. Remember when we came in and they were still shuffling? That was about 30 seconds ago.
So they're on to game 3, right?
They're at 1 apiece right now and going to 3. Why don't we head back to our main match, though, where we have Kentaro Yamamoto and Sam Black ready to continue their action here. Busy feature match area, as you can see. Zergo Bell Striker on turn 1 for Sam this time, who could just not quite pull out that game.
Took
Game
a mulligan
1.
this game.
He mulliganed this game, too?
I mean, unless we're missing a card from our hand viewer.
Okay. And there's 3 damage now for Sam Black here on turn 2. Yamamoto's still in the setting up his mana stage of the game.
Yeah. On the play, I've already hit you with 2 creatures for 3 damage. Now you can have your first mana.
I do see that Yamamoto has 2 copies of Nyx Fleece Ram in his sideboard here. Don't see anything else.
No
super
turn 2
obvious,
play.
though.
Looks like he's got up ultimate price mana.
See, I'm doing some math here on the table. His hand looks good. He's got a land, and everything else is spells.
It's just a sequencing question, really. Yeah, he decides to go for the Abbot. Now, if this is a land, he has not played a land yet this turn. So if this is a land, he can
Or
play
a 1
it.
drop, you can go land
That
and play
the
it.
2 mana spell is the only part where
Awkward.
that's bad.
All right, well, he's getting in there for 3 currently. And he says, do you pass priority? Sure. Yamamoto is going to ultimate price something.
Yeah.
And he decides to preserve his life total to the maximum amount possible here by killing the 2-powered creature over the potentially 2 to 3-powered creature down the line. So Zergo down. Is this going to be a Nyx Fleece Ram for Yamamoto? Whoop. Nope.
Yes.
It is a Nyx Fleece Ram for Yamamoto, and he has that 3rd mana, and it gives him access to all of his colors as well. So this is a good start for Kentaro. Is he going to block?
You kind of have to, right?
Right, I think you do.
But yeah, Searing Blood is both a prowess trigger for the Swift Spear and enough to finish off the ram.
So you take 5 and go to 11?
I mean, you can't just let a 2/1 prowess creature hit you, right?
Right, I agree. Kentaro, even with this decent start, is all the way down to 11 here, though. He's still going to need to really stabilize this board. I think he's thinking about playing it on a Fenza, and Sam has the answer with that exquisite Firecraft in hand and ready to go.
If he even bothers. I mean, I guess killing on a fence is better. He's
I mean,
almost got enough burn to
he'd
just...
get in for 5 at that in that turn.
Yeah. Death
All
Miss
right,
Raptor.
it's Death Miss Raptor instead. Probably still the same.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that both of Sam's creatures have prowess helps for sure.
It actually gets him. It gets him in for 5, putting Yamamoto to 6, and Sam has Stoke in his hand, so he would have him at a virtual 2 with still 2 creatures on an empty board. So this looks pretty good to me.
Burns the creature.
Yeah.
Crunches over for 5.
Go. Where's all the siege rhinos is what Kentaro wants to know.
Yeah, this is the turn where you're supposed to play Siege Rhino. Does not have one. And Fenza doesn't come with 3 life.
He's got Den Protector. He can get back the ultimate price here. He can go like block the Abbot, get back ultimate price, and have it for next turn.
Right.
But he actually needs an ultimate price in his hand to not die this turn.
Right. And Sam sees that.
Yeah.
He can attack, stoke Kentaro.
Yes.
Prowess trigger on the untapped Swift Spear.
And kill him.
Is lethal.
And that forces Kentaro to have something else. And even if he does, you're not in a bad position if you're Sam. I don't think any burn spell.
Oh, he's at 6? I thought he was at 5.
He's at
Swift
6.
Spear isn't
It still
lethal.
works. It is.
Death Miss Raptor comes back, though. So he gets to go block.
Right. Of course. Whew, this is going to be close.
Interesting. Which way does Kentaro block? If he he can win both fights if Sam doesn't have an instant. He could make the block of, wow, I got to get lucky here. I think that's actually... So this block, neither of Kentaro's creatures is dying without an instant, but Sam does have the instant. I think I agree with Kentaro's decision to make the kind of risky block. Right, he could have just said one guy's going to live, one guy's going to die, but he wanted to win both fights. He's so far behind that he felt like he had to win both fights and have Sam be out of gas.
Yeah, it just felt like he needs a Siege Rhino here. I mean, we know that Sam's out of gas now.
Right.
But all of his burn spells kill Kentaro on the spot, and many of his creatures do. He burns a Duress here to see if it was a lightning strike. It wasn't. And Kentaro really needs to find a way to cushion that life total because he's not going to get many turns here.
He did get back the Nyx Fleece Ram with Den Protector.
Okay. That will start edging up. It's still going to take 2 or 3 turns to get a cushion that's comfortable.
He's going to go Wayfinder first.
Looks like Sean McLaren evened things up against Joel Larsson on their table. They're going to go to game 3. Sean's on Abzan Rally of the Ancestors.
And here's that Nyx Fleece Ram.
Okay,
now
here's a top deck for Sam.
Last game he needed to draw lands.
Yes.
This game he needs to draw spells.
Does he find it? What did he draw?
It was a spell. Is it a Scab Clan Berserker?
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, there's blockers for that.
Yeah, that is not the kind of spell that Sam needs here. He passed a turn back. Kentaro jumps up to 3.
Yeah, he really needs a burn spell.
Now, you get up to 5, and you can fade any one burn spell if you're Kentaro. You get up to 4, and there's still 8 total in the deck that can get you, although 2 are gone.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a Den Protector, and that is a Siege Rhino down in the graveyard as well. Is that what he gets?
Comes back.
He's going to get Dromica's command and play a land, so now he can blank a counterspell. And he drew Stoke. Sam drew Stoke, which Kentaro has the answer for here. He can't crack that fetch land, not without dying, but yeah, he does not crack the fetch land.
Yeah, I was going to say, Sam could respond to the fetch land activation.
So
with
he
the
couldn't
Stoke.
do that, but Kentaro is looking like he's just eking ahead here. He is not out of the woods yet, though. He's going to get in for 6. Sam is going to oblige. Jeez, this is close. Yamamoto, I think, has another Wayfinder. Yeah.
Yep. Spills the second Rhino. Spills the third Rhino.
Yeah, he wouldn't mind just drawing
Whiffs on
those
land.
cards. And there's on Offenza. Once again, though, he has left himself
left it
in
with
a
the fetch
slightly
land.
awkward spot here with the fetch land.
It's Eidolon.
He can crack it in response, though. It was Eidolon of the Great Revel off the top
draw.
for Sam Black,
which
is actually a target for the Dromica's command as well. He's
Sam
now
has
at 5.
Sam has been so close.
There's a Death Mist Raptor off the top for Yamamoto. Sam has been so close both games.
It's like, can't you just mess up the sequencing and crack a fetch land for me one time?
Just one fetch land. Yamamoto is having none of it, though. In fact, he's lining up his attacks here. Sam Black's at 13 life. And as we saw in the last game, Yamamoto getting on the offensive as quickly as possible while still maintaining his life total is critical.
And he's up to 5 now, so the Stoke's no longer lethal.
Right. And he's got all of his untapped mana, so that fetch land problem is not relevant anymore.
Dromica's command on board. I think Kentaro Yamamoto is going to 8-0.
He has certainly swung the pendulum back in his direction.
I mean, Siege Rhinos have not been the story of the day, but they're going to be 8-0 anyway.
Yeah.
I don't see how Sam gets out of this. Not now that Kentaro's back up to 5.
Sam's going to double block on Offenza. He put a counter on his Den Protector, which is going to get in there. And Sam is going to stoke the flames, targeting Kentaro. Is this going to force him to use it?
He wants Kentaro to play the Dromica's command while the Eidolon is still in play. And Kentaro's not having any of it. He's just going to 1.
None of it. He says, sure.
Fine, I'm at 1 with the Dromica's command. I'm not giving you 2 damage from your Eidolon.
And here comes the Death Mist Raptor, which has a multiple times lethal board state here. And Kentaro knows that he can just hide behind the Dromica's command. Of course, prevent all damage, target instant or sorcery spell would deal this turn is the primary mode that he's dealing with here. Sam's trying to get him to use it. It is not going to work. Yamamoto is potentially a turn away from being 8-0 at the Pro Tour here.
Got him to 1 like 3 different times. Once last game.
Sam passes the turn
Twice
back.
This game.
And back up to 2 for Yamamoto. He draws Wingmate Rock, too. And here comes the team. Okay, yep, attack with all of these. Lightning Strike, target you. Make
I know
him
how
do
my
it,
card works.
and that's it. Kentaro Yamamoto is 8-0 on day 1, undefeated. Sam Black is going to have to settle for a fantastic 7-1 start here, and still putting himself in position for his goals for the season.
Oh yeah, he's still in position where if the tournament ended right now, he'd be in the top 8, and he'd be picking up 20-ish pro points minimum. I guess it's 18 to make top 8, and then 22, 26, 30. So great shape. Would rather have been 8-0.
Yeah.
Probably should have won that first game. Got kind of unlucky to just never, ever find land number 3. But congratulations to Kentaro Yamamoto. He had work to do just to get... He's trying to get back to Platinum. And he had to do some work to get to Platinum. But 8 wins, he's only got to go 4-4 tomorrow to get Platinum back.
And playing the way he's playing, I think he's certainly shooting higher than that.
And that 5th win, or maybe even 4 wins and a draw, he could get back to the top 8.
All right, so now let's jump in over here on Daniel Cicchetti versus Antonio Del Moralio. Now, I can read below his name there, Randy.
Yes, sir.
Green-Black Demonic Pact, which is a catchy name, by the way. How does this deck work? What is he trying to do here to win his games of Magic?
He's trying to play Demonic Pact as many times as possible. In particular, so you play Demonic Pact, you get value. If you left Demonic Pact in play 4 times, you are obliged to choose the you lose the game option. So what you do is you play Woodland Bellower, and you go get invasive species out of your deck.
Okay.
You pick up the Demonic Pact and play it again.
I love that they didn't settle for destroying it.
No,
we're running it back.
No, pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, you can destroy it, but he's got multiple copies of invasive species in his list.
Yeah, one way to look at Demonic Pact, if you're trying to envision kind of what it does, it's slow, right? You play it for 4, nothing happens until your upkeep. But if it sits on the battlefield, it ends up being about a draw 5. Like
Sure.
that thing, effectively gets you 5 cards of card advantage or so. And
I draw 2, you lose 2.
Yeah.
Take 4. I'll gain
Sometimes you
some
just
life.
hit them for 4.
Now let's run it back. Let's do it again. Only 1 Reclamation Sage, 2 copies of Invasive Species.
Now, to be clear, you are playing with fire. If that 4th trigger goes on the stack, you're dead.
True story.
But you know what? The payoff might just be there. This is game 3. You can take a look at Daniel here.
I love the 3 Woodland Bellowers is also pretty cool.
Daniel's testing with a bunch of the Madison guys. He tests with Aaron Lewis, who won
Okay.
GP Vegas. A bunch of the guys from the local area that are qualified there tested together.
Is his red aggro? Did they come up with a different red aggro deck from Ultra Pro, or is it just the
Yeah,
Ultra Pro?
they're not
list?
on Ultra Pro. I don't know how different their deck lists are, though.
Oh, interesting. He's got a couple copies of Chandra, Fire of Kaladesh. So they came to the same conclusion, but yeah, the Madison guys like Cicchetti were not actually with Ultra Pro.
That's right.
Just came to a very similar conclusion. They're off by the 2 Chandras, and that's about it. Some Thunderbreak Regents, and the sideboard's pretty different too. All right, we're off.
Yeah, they said they go by Team Power 9.
Got it. And it's Dan Bach's company. Dan Bach, who once played a Pro Tour with 60 basic lands in his deck. He's a dealer. He mostly showed up to buy and sell cards. But he was qualified for the
Are
Pro
you
Tour.
serious?
He registered 60 basic lands. His round 1 opponent was terrified. Like, when is he going to do something?
Go.
Yeah, and then he dropped and went over to his dealer table.
I mean, there is a land stack in Legacy. I'm assuming this wasn't it. That's pretty funny. You get a look at our Pro Tour champion at the table here, Antonio. Also played in the Magic Online Championship.
Nissa, the other Origins card that Dalmar Leon plays.
Speak as a devil.
There you go. Yeah, Antonio has accomplished most goals that most Magic players can have. He's guaranteed a spot at Worlds because he's a Pro Tour champion. He's already clinched Platinum. He'd have it on points even if he didn't get it automatically for being a Pro Tour champion. He can make a run at Player of the Year. I mean, if he wins this and he's 6'2", he's one of those guys that can get into the running without necessarily making top 8, especially if Eric loses his winning in this round.
In the meantime, Cicchetti looks like he's used up a lightning strike on Nissa.
Yeah. Antonio's done pretty well in the Grand Prix circuit this year, too. I mean, he's clearly more than just, random guy that won a Pro Tour.
Yeah.
He's also won a Grand Prix.
Cicchetti's won a Grand Prix this year as well. Cicchetti was also on the United States national team for the World Magic Cup a couple years ago.
Oh, Harnessed by Force is in from the sideboard for Cicchetti. Haven't seen that yet today.
I haven't seen that, yeah.
Yeah, Stoke takes down Courser.
Stoke takes out Courser. Woodland Bellower on top of the library for Antonio. He's going to draw that. He just immediately passes. Missing his land drop, it looks like.
Yep. Cicchetti's got no creatures, though. I mean, burning their creatures is nice, but you really want to be just chipping away with Zergo or something.
Burn hit for 2.
2 copies of Woodland Bellower in Delmar Leon's hand.
Yeah, Daniel is missing one key component here. And here's a duress now from Antonio.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, looks like he's going to get a Stoke the Flames out of it. Unless he has something that he wants to protect from roast.
The Bellower is 6'5", so.
Roastable.
Looks like he's going to take the Stoke anyway. Man, Bellower can even get Nissa?
Bello cannot get Nissa. I think it's non-legendary.
Oh, it's non-legendary.
Yeah.
Right. Sorry.
Bellower's sweet, though. All right, well, a remarkably barren battlefield we've got here.
Eidolon just ran into a drown.
You got to figure like this is in Antonio's favor here,
Yes.
right? I mean, he's at 19
Absolutely.
with his now 6th land on the battlefield. He can just, the stuff he's going to cast is just going to be so much more powerful than what Cicchetti's doing. Like, this is one of Cicchetti's best draws, Abbot of Curl Keep, and it's just not that impressive here. It's good.
Right. I mean, he just plowed his way through a Drown in Zara, but there's still a Languish in
But you know what
Antonio's
beats
hand.
Abbot of Curl Keep? Bellower. I mean, that's
Or Languish.
slightly better. Yeah, Languish does the job, too. Languish.
Yeah. Take the clean 2 for 1. Follow up with the Bellower next turn.
All right, there's something for Daniel. A nice draw here. Thunderbreak region off the top.
Yeah,
So it looks like he's got a little bit of the top end going here out of the
yeah, that's
board.
in from the sideboard, but
Okay.
yes. He has the ability to go a little bit bigger after sideboarding. Here's Courser. Wow, that's a nice turn for Antonio. He Courser of Kruphix, finds a land, and oh, by the way, he's got Hero's Downfall mana to take care of the dragon. I'm sure he takes 3, but he's at 16,
Yeah,
and it's
no
turned
problem.
like 10?
Yeah, take 3. 14.
And yeah, Antonio's left still with the Courser of Kruphix there for defense on anything small that Cicchetti can draw.
You have 20 cards?
You have to, you just roast it, right?
Yes. And roast it he does. He also plays a Chandra. Fire of
see that.
Kaladesh. Haven't seen one of those yet today. There was one opened in limited, but it didn't make the deck.
His Bellowers are like, is it time, finally?
I think
We've been
it
hanging
is.
around for a while. Put us in, coach.
Put him in. There he is. Woodland Bellower. Let's see. And he's just going to go get another Courser. How's that? Take that, Abbot of Curl Keep. Show you what a 2-for-1 looks like. 6/5. And friend. Is that a demonic pact? I think he's got one on top of his library,
does.
Randy.
That-
Oh, man.
That is Liliana smiling at us from the top of the deck.
What I want to know is if you don't have a way in your hand to deal
Do
with
you
it,
play
do
it?
you run it? Like, I
think so.
How redundant, are the ways to actually deal with it?
You
then?
can also just win the game.
Before it matters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only count 3 ways to deal with it in this deck. I mean, if you don't count, oh no, Ugin. You can Ugin it away. 4 ways.
Oh, he's doing it. Steal them all. Or steal them
by
both.
force.
Harness by force. Ping you. Take 10.
Wow. What just happened?
Yep, all right.
That's 3. So she's supposed to transform, right? I thought he activated. Maybe he didn't activate it first. I thought he had activated it. Wow. Either way, Antonio's at 4 from what looked like a great position. So nice sideboarding from Daniel Cicchetti here. Harnessed by force indeed.
Yeah, Harness by Force was insane right there.
Yeah, so Chandra is not optional. I thought that Cicchetti had pinged with Chandra and then attacked with Chandra. That's 3. Which
Well,
would
isn't it part of
transform.
the activated ability? It's only if it's tap. It doesn't say for the rest of the turn if she's dealt 3. It says
Oh, it's
if
only if you
during
do
the
it
resolution of this
other
ability,
way.
it checks to see if you've dealt 3.
Thank you, Randy. So she's done 3, but you need to get that tap in to do it. Okay. So she does not turn over, which is a bummer, I think, for Cicchetti. But he couldn't do it the other way.
And
Here's
now
Drown and
Drown
Sorrow.
is going to kill Chandra.
Yeah.
When did you play this card?
On my turn?
On your turn?
Yeah.
You didn't figure your top card, but you had a cursor.
Oh, okay.
Okay, is it this card, or did you draw?
It is still this card. I haven't drawn any
Yes.
pieces.
So
Oh, when he stole the Courser, he was supposed to reveal the top
yeah.
card of his library. Antonio is supposed to get to know
And
what's
he-
coming.
And he could have played a mountain off
Cicchetti
it.
could have played the mountain while he controlled the Courser, but did not think of that.
Yeah,
Here
that
it is, Demonic Pact.
Demonic Pact, go.
Demonic Pact, go. Wow.
Hang on for the ride, Antonio Del Moral Leon. I think I know what mode he's going to choose first. He left both of his creatures back.
He did.
is just shields up here. Cicchetti, I don't think, can kill him here either.
He's got Lightning
because
Strike. He can
He's
drop him
only
to
got
2.
Lightning Strike, and he drew a mountain.
Because he didn't play it off the
Yeah,
Courser.
that's why. I want to see what his next draw step is, and I'm sure he's eager as well. That is a tough little niche interaction,
Yeah,
though.
Okay.
Hit ya. You're down to 16. Antonio goes to 9. And the clock starts ticking,
it
and
doesn't. Look
right
how
on
much-
time.
Look how much power is in play. What do you mean the clock starts ticking? Cicchetti's dead like next turn.
Well, okay, that's probably true, except for the fact that Harness by Force exists. Could kill him. This is awesome. He's going to get in for 8. He's got the Bellower to follow up to, well, just to kill Cicchetti, probably.
9 lands for Antonio?
Yeah.
Cicchetti wisely keeping 2 mountains in hand here, though, so he doesn't lose both of them on his next upkeep.
Yeah.
That's Bellower number 2 out of
It
his
is.
hand? He's just going to shuffle away that other one.
Can't wait. Got stuff to do. Does he have a land? Can he actually replay the Demonic Pact this turn? That looks like invasive species.
That was an invasive species.
Going off.
He does pick it up.
Pick up my Demonic Pact. Does he have a land?
He does, but it's a tap. It's
Oh,
a
okay.
Temple of Malady, I believe. Invasive species.
Oh, he might get an untapped land here?
Oh, yeah? He does.
Comes into play tap lane. No second Demonic Pact yet. We'll just have to settle for having, what, 6, 12, 13, 14, 17 power. Can Cicchetti
Right,
top
other
deck
Harness by
6
Force.
damage? Harness by Force or no?
Nope. Can't do it. All
Wow.
lands at the end, and Antonio Del Moral Leon wins his match. That was pretty sweet.
Agree.
Nothing like casting Bellowers against the mono red player.
Recasting Demonic Pacts. We didn't get to see it recast. It sounded like that did what happened in his other win.
Yeah, he was peeling to do it though.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If he hit a land off that Courser, he would have done it for sure. Wow, that was great.
Good times.
The Harness by Force was super sweet too. That was a huge swing that I'm sure Del Moral Leon's heart jumped a bit like, oh no, am I just dead? Okay. Whew. All right, well, why don't we send it to the news desk for a recap of all the action from today and Richard Hagen.
All right, thank you very much indeed to the guys in the commentary box there, bringing you all the action from the final round. Ian, Duke here with us at the desk. Brian David Marshall getting ready to interview some of the movers and shakers coming out of day 1. But Ian, while we are dealing with 6 and 2s and 7 and 1s and 8 and 0s, maybe the biggest story of round 8 came from the 3 and 4s.
Oh, interesting.
So, Eric Froelich had to win his last game of the day to come back tomorrow, or he was done. So, 3 and 4 became 4 and 4.
Oh, good for him. On his
Yeah.
Hall of Fame elect weekend.
Right.
That's perfect.
Which is super sweet. So that means that Eric Froelich is back. Now, as we've talked all weekend long, it's wins 10, 11, and 12 that really count in all these races.
Right.
So even at 4 and 4, tons of work to do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But still, the dream is alive.
Right, because 6 and 2, at that point, he's 10 and 6. He gets those extra points, 3 extra points for the 10th win, gets him to 6 points overall. If he happened to go 7 and 1 tomorrow, that would take him 4 further points. Run the table, 12 and 4, he'd be thinking, gosh, I wish I hadn't done such a bad job on day 1. But the key point is for him, 10 wins, 11 wins, 12 wins. So he's still alive, but plenty of players have the door well ajar in the Player of the Year race. Someone who's not in the Player of the Year race, but is right in the mix of this Pro Tour race, is one of our 8 and 0 players. And right now he is waiting for us. Here's Brian David Marshall with Canada's own Rich Hoen.
Thanks, Rich. I'm sitting here with Rich Hoen.
Hi.
Rich, it's been a while since we've seen you.
Yeah.
But you got back here kind of an interesting way. Lots of traveling. Perhaps you suggested maybe the biggest geographic disparity between PPTQ location and RPTQ location. Tell us how you qualified for this tournament.
So I was actually in the Philippines on business, and so one of my co-workers was going to play PPTQ and convinced me to go. So I just went and played, and then I normally live back in Toronto, so went back there and played the RPTQ. A friend had a hard time convincing me to go play the RPTQ. It was usually just play basketball Saturday afternoons. And, yeah.
Worked out okay for you?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So how did you come to work with Team Ultra Pro?
So the last Pro Tour I played was Valencia last year. I was with the Pantheon then, and I enjoyed that experience. So my initial plan was to go back to them. I asked them if I could. Apparently, I did not make the cut. I did not get voted in. So, Ben Stark was talking about Ultra Pro, and it sounded good. I also liked the fact that most of the testing was online. I wouldn't have to go to a house for a couple weeks, make a big commitment.
Yeah, you're growing up. You're
got a job. Mrs. A wonderful fiance.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So you get there. You've always been known as the limited mentor.
Mentor, but
when Kenji wanted to learn how to play limited.
Yeah, you guys exaggerate this story.
Kenji exaggerated that story.
I heard the story again recently that I taught Alex how to draft. That wasn't true either.
Well, again, Alex tells that story, so.
Anyway.
Okay. So, do you come in and do you still take on that role? Is limited still something that you can slip on like a shoe?
Well, no, I still have to play drafts and learn the format, but I did feel like my role on the team was to learn about the format and try to share that knowledge with others, whereas I was very unlikely to be able to contribute much to the Type 2 deck, standard. And so yeah, my role would certainly be helping everyone with limited.
Okay, and then your constructed deck. This deck has been a powerhouse at this tournament. You had 3 players at 7-0 at one point.
Yep.
How do you feel? How comfortable do you feel with a deck like this in general and this deck specifically?
Well, way back when I used to play a lot of Magic, I would never play a red deck. It's not fun. It's not interesting. But when I actually won the RPTQ with the same 75 as Martin
Dang.
Yeah, they won the Pro Tour. So, so I basically came into the house 90% to play red anyway, and then very fortunately for me, it turned out that red was the best deck, or at least so we think.
Right, but now your version that you guys are playing here feels very different than Martin Dang's deck, which is going kind of wide and playing things like Hordling Outburst and Dragon Fighter, where you guys are really just kind of playing creatures that almost function as burn spells.
We're basically on the the 1996 plan: 20 creatures, 20 lands, 20 burn spells. The printing of Abbot of Carol
Keep.
Yeah, that guy's good, and then just 4 damage uncounterable.
Exquisite Firecraft.
Yeah, those made it so you don't really need to sacrifice to make your lands work to try to combo them with the Tarkus command. You can just play cards that are good on their own and don't need synergies.
You actually just get to play 20 mountains.
Yeah, no, it's really 20 mountains, 20 dudes, 20 spells. It might be 19 dudes, 21 spells, but yeah, this is 1996 deck building.
Is there anything out there you've seen that you're scared of playing with this deck, or do you feel you're feeling pretty good going in?
Well, I haven't really played much Magic over the last year, so I basically missed a year of the format. So people keep naming cards. I'm like, what's that? What's that? I've called a judge 3 times in this tournament to ask what my opponent's cards do. This is not how I used to play Magic, but it's. So I'm sure there's something I should be scared of. Maybe I just don't even know it exists. I made a joke the other day, maybe someone has white gain 10 life. Maybe that's a card that exists. And someone's like, well, that's a green card. I'm like, oh, I had no idea.
Right, feed the clan.
Yeah.
Beware of that one.
Yeah, no, I saw someone playing against Paul. It didn't go well.
Face-to-face game shirt on there. Ultra Pro band. But I'm saying Canadian Magic has really been resurgent. How sort of source of national pride for you? Are you?
Yeah, it makes me feel like I was holding everyone down. When I was playing, it was just me. When I first started, Toronto was fantastic. You had a lot of guys like Gary Wise, Gabe Sang, Matt Vino, Gary Cracker, Elijah Pollock, Steve Wolfman. I'm going to miss some, but all these guys, Pro Tour top 8ers, Pro Tour regulars, guys are very good. And that's how I got good at Magic. I was just a random kid, but they always needed a 6th for draft, so I got to play with them. And then, when I got good, it was just only me. I was the only Canadian for a long time, like regularly going to Pro Tours. So it's fantastic to see, people like Alex, Pascal, Dan Lanthier, Dan Fournier, like all these kids doing well. Lucas, it's really happy to see that.
Well,
makes me happy.
I know what also makes you happy are you Blue Jays. So I'm going to let you go watch the end of that game.
See if I can catch them winning bottom of the 9th.
And come back tomorrow and see if you can build on this 8-0 start. One of just 2 undefeated players left in this tournament. Rich Hoen sending it back to the news desk from Brian David Marshall.
All right, thanks very much to Brian David Marshall there and Rich Hoen. Ian, developing stories all the time because everyone makes their first run sooner or later. And right now, there's a group of Americans who are not especially well known. They're not Platinum Pros. They're not going to be World Magic Cup captain. They are not realistically going to be at the World Championship. Not this year.
Yeah, maybe someday.
That's right. So here's a bunch of Americans that are at 7-1, and like I say, they're kind of unheralded. Let me give you a few. Michael Durzo, he's 7-1. Played on one Pro Tour before, a positive record, went 9-7, and that's tough to do on your first
Yeah,
PT.
it sure is. I certainly didn't.
Right. I certainly didn't either. 9-7, Michael Durzo last time. Well ahead of his curve, now at 7-1. 7-1 also for Scott Lipp. Now, what do you know about Scott Lipp, Ian?
I happen to know that he last played a Pro Tour in 1997, I believe.
Yeah, now you see, when you said that to me while we were listening to Rich, I'm like, wait, that's my job. How come you know that? How come you do know that?
Well, we did a bit of a fantasy draft, drafting sort of our fantasy teams for the Pro Tour before we begun, and Scott Lipp was one of my pickups there.
So you're like, well, this guy's going to give me lots of points.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. He played in 1997.
That's right.
Outrageous that you know that. What I know, because I looked it up, 77% GP win rate this season.
Wow.
So this is someone who's gone, you know what? I get the 2-day grind fest that is 1,000 rounds in 2 days. But now what I'm going to do at the highest level is laser in. And it turns out I get it at the top level too. So Scott Lipp, very impressive, and you've got a great guy in the bank for the fantasy draft there. All right, now Max McVitie, he's played once before, went 3-5, didn't make day 2. At 7-1, he's firmly in day 2 this time around. So good job for him. Brian Gottlieb is 7-1. Now, he is a more known name, certainly, than the previous 3.
Yeah, I think he tested with some of the New York area players.
Oh, okay, right. But here's the big one. Mike Sigrist is up to 7-1. Now, the reason that matters is he is right on the verge of an at-large spot for the World Championship. Right now, taking a look here, he is exactly 1 place below an at-large spot.
Wow.
So at 7-1, he is in tremendous shape. And also, even though Eric Froelich made it into day 2 here, with Sigrist at 7-1, a top 8 appearance here, a minimum of 18 pro points, every chance that right now Mike Sigrist could be in the thick of the Player in the Year race come tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So many players in contention here.
Yeah, we began with a theoretical 51 and a realistic 18.
Yeah.
I think once we do the math tonight, we will see that we are down to probably about 8 to 10. And as tomorrow buckles up, especially in the constructed rounds, because that's where the points will be made. 10th win, 11th win, 12th win. That's where the points count. So, meanwhile, I can tell you that sitting in the comfortable chairs across the studio, having another well-deserved break, is one of our favourite players from Europe. It's Joel Larsson of Sweden, Pro Tour finalist, of course, at Gatecrash in 2013. So let's find out about his 7-1 day in the company of Brian David Marshall.
Thanks, Rich. I'm sitting here with Joel Larsson of Sweden. Joel, you come into this tournament, you must have a target for what you need to do. What was your goal coming into this tournament?
XM5 was the goal. Top 8 is always the goal, obviously, but I need XM5 for goals. And also we have a bit of a challenge of the World Championship team leader. So I'm 6 points ahead, but anything can happen at the Pro Tour.
I can't imagine you know exactly where is at the tournament right now.
You mean my competitor?
Yes.
Yeah, he's 5-3.
Okay, so you're keeping an eye on him every round?
I am. I mean, he's a great friend of mine,
Yeah.
and he's an excellent player, and I won't be sad if he takes it,
Right.
because that means he will do well. But obviously, I want the title as well. Yeah.
So you're 7-1. That means you need to go 4-4 tomorrow for your sort of minimum goal.
Yeah, for my modest goal.
For your modest goal of being gold.
Yes.
4-4, that sounds easy.
So the
4-4.
Pro Tour, right? So excellent players every round, so you kind of got to keep it up. You can't lay off, and yeah.
Okay, well, we just saw you on camera. What tell us about the deck you're playing in Standard a little bit. Like, what makes your deck? What made this be the deck you wanted to take to the Pro Tour?
We've started testing a long time ago, and we found out that creatures like Nissa the Planeswalker, Vaswood Seer, and Jace Vryn's Prodigy were excellent cards, and they were gonna go right into the metagame. And we thought that cheap interaction was a key part of this metagame, so we wanted something to. Every deck needed to interact cheaply. We put the ultimate prices in the black deck, and so on and so on. And in the end, we had a really good mono red list. We thought Searing Blood, that deals 2 damage, kills both, and deals 3 to the head as well. It's like drawing a card with tempo. So that's how we ended up with the mono red deck. Yeah.
And how has the deck played out for you? Obviously, it's serving you very well. How's it played out for the other people on your team that you worked with?
I think pretty well. We had 5 people on XM1 before the last round. So I think it's been performing super well. I don't know the exact stats, but I think pretty well. It's pretty good.
Okay, so tell me something about your draft. How did your draft go this morning?
All right, so I opened Jessian Thief, Voidmare Separatist, and 2 red cards. I took the Thief, never played with it, but it looks good. And I got past a Totem Guide Heart Beast. So I went into blue-white pretty quickly. Got a pretty mediocre deck, no bombs, but it was exactly what the format needed.
Lots of 2-for-1s and.
Nah, not a lot of 2-for-1s, but it's a perfect curve. It had 15 creatures, 8 spells, 4 2-drops and some tricks, and it had everything, but nothing spectacular. So.
Okay, and then how did you do with that?
2-1. I lost to Brad in
so
the second round.
So by my math,
yeah,
that means you're undefeated in Standard.
That is correct.
It's pretty exciting going into tomorrow.
Yeah, it's sweet. I mean, I'm not usually a huge fan of the red deck, so it takes a lot for me to play it. But when it's great, you kind of have to.
Well, hope it's still great for you tomorrow. Joel Larsson, thanks a lot. Sending it back to the news decks with Rich and Ian.
Thanks very much, BDM. More 7-1s because the field is really compressing at that just 1 loss mark. Stephen Neal, 60% from 5 PTs. Well, now 87.5% today, at least.
Good day for him.
Yep, great day for him. Wilson Mock of Canada. Now, this is a turnaround. Generally, 1 PT, you're finding your feet. 2, well, maybe you have a bad day. Once you've played 3 and your record is 8 wins and 16 losses, you kind of feel maybe I am not quite at this level yet.
Yeah.
Wilson Mock of Canada appears to have figured it out. Because in his 4th PT, he is 7-1. So great job.
Awesome for him.
Yeah, terrific. And I love seeing the stories like that for people who, they come, they get hammered. They manage to come back again. No, 3rd go. Oh, really? And now here we go. Great stuff. Best of luck to Wilson tomorrow. Someone who has been here before, though, Timothée Simoneau, Ian, from France, who is working his way up the table from a distance behind, mind you. Raph Levy leads the France World Magic Cup race and trying to get back after a year off. Well, Timothée Simoneau, one of Raph Levy's teammates, is making life difficult for Raph there. He is 7-1. Someone else who is 7-1 is waiting in the wings to talk to Brian David Marshall. Why don't we get over there right now? Here's BDM with Sam Black.
Thanks, Rich. I'm sitting here with Sam Black. Sam, you come into this tournament and you are hunting down Eric Froelich for the Player of the Year title.
Yep.
Do you have a sense of where everyone is at this point in the tournament?
I do. Well, not everyone, but I know some of the key people at the top of the standings. And forgive me if I missed someone. This is just the information that I've heard throughout the day. But I've heard that Yuya, who was 1 point behind me, is out. Ifro, who is the only person who is ahead of me, 3 points ahead of me, I believe is 4-4 going into day 2. Li Shitian, who has the same number of points as me, but beats me on tiebreakers if we tie, has 1 more loss than I do. And Arilax, who I think is 3 points behind Lee and I, has 3 losses. And I don't know who's next after that, or if anyone's tied with him.
So you're not really thinking about a specific record for player of the year at this point. You're like, I just want to keep winning more.
Yeah.
Just keep winning. And you feel like the deck you've brought to the table is a deck that is capable of just continuing to go through.
I wouldn't play Burn if I didn't think it was the best by a lot.
This is sort of a recurring theme I've heard today. People, I normally wouldn't play Burn, but when I do.
Yeah, I mean, it won the last PT, and then it got more cards than any other deck, and they're all A+.
What's the big change? Like I talked to just a little bit about Rich about this. The idea that when we last saw the red deck, though, it was kind of a go wide deck.
Yes,
and
it's very different.
We haven't seen you guys doing that. We've seen you guys sort of plowing ahead with
totally
one creature at a
focus.
time almost.
Yeah. Basically, like the biggest change is we chose this deck because of its positioning in the metagame, which basically the card Searing Blood is like we got all these sweet new cards, but Searing Blood isn't a new card, but it functions as a new card because it's just totally different now that all the control decks have 2 toughness creatures because of these planeswalkers. And suddenly, Searing Blood that was a sideboard card or you could main deck it in the right metagame is now just good against everyone. And it's your best card, just period. And that lets us, like being able to play that card plus Exquisite Firecraft gives us enough burn spells to just be a burn deck. And then our creature base is built around being able to attack into a Satyr Wayfinder and being able to be bigger than a Hordling Outburst, so Hordling Outburst isn't 3-for-1ing us, while not playing Hordling Outburst because everyone's hate for red decks is all these like Scouring Sands and like cards that just we can blank and we can just win with burn spells, and just like everyone has cards that they think like the slots that they put in their sideboard for us are like, yeah, Drowning Sorrow is an okay card, I guess. It's not like, it's worse than Arashan Cleric, who is fine. Like, no one has great bullets against us,
right.
and that's why the deck is so strong.
And you're not looking to overcommit to the board necessarily to get beaten by a Drowning Sorrow.
And that's the other thing is the decks that were best against the red decks were these like mid-range white decks that lose to Languish. So all of the like natural predators for red get pushed out of the field by Languish. What everyone was doing in the tournaments leading up to this tournament is like going bigger and bigger and playing 3-mana, or like playing Sultai Charm so that they can kill Gaia's Revenge. And everyone's just like moving up to more and more expensive removal spells. And we're like, okay, we can duck that easy. And people just have all the wrong answers.
And I have to imagine if you're playing against a control deck, a card like Exquisite Firecraft is very well named.
Yes, Exquisite Firecraft is amazing against control, but we got all these other tools that control can't beat. Like if you're playing against blue-black control, like their game plan is to like stabilize and then dig into a couple counter spells. They know that they have to somehow find a way to close the game or draw Radiant Fountains to get out of range before you Exquisite Firecraft them out. But beyond that, if you just have a Molten Vortex in play on turn 2, what do they do?
Oh my gosh.
They can't possibly draw more Radiant Fountains than you draw mountains. That's not gonna happen. And so they have to have left Perilous Vault in against a burn deck. And who's gonna do that?
You're making me want to go play the deck right now, actually.
It's so well positioned. And Scab Clan Berserker has been great against these control decks. We have 2 different Berserkers where they play Languish or they play Drown in Sorrow, and we're just okay, either Lightning Berserker you for 5 or Scab Clan Berserker hit you for 2. Now you have to answer it and take 2 more. I played against someone playing Jeskai earlier today, and I'm Guy. He's kill your guy, untap Anger. I'm okay, Scab Clan hit you. He's okay, take a pain from my land, take 2 to cast Anger. I'm okay, Scab Clan hit you. He's take a pain from my land, take 2 to cast Anger. I'm okay, Lightning Strike, kill you.
Wow. Sounds exciting. Good luck tomorrow in your pursuit of the Player of the Year title.
Thank you very much.
Good luck in your draft. Looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table, or what you take away from the table, I should say, when drafting.
That is how that works.
For Sam Black, this is Brian David Marshall, sending it back to Rich at the news desk.
Thanks, BDM. This says Pro Tour Vancouver standings after round 8, which means that this must be the end of day wrap.